Imagine for a moment being told you're flat out banned from your favorite Mexican or, say, Chinese or Indian restaurant.
Okay.
Not because you forgot your wallet or, caused a scene, but because of your political leanings.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Seems, well, pretty outrageous, right? That truly eyebrow-raising, controversial statement is precisely the starting point for today's deep dive.
Indeed. Today we're taking a deep dive into what can only be described as a fascinating, albeit maybe utterly unconventional take on culture, food, and identity.
Right.
We're drawing from a YouTube video transcript that captures, well, a liberal woman's highly contentious rant. Our mission is basically to unpack the pretty outlandish claims made, examine the facts presented within the source, and ultimately uncover what's truly behind the idea of authentic, multicultural cuisine in America.
We'll be pulling nuggets of insight directly from the transcript of a video from the YouTube channel Timcast, where a Bravo star, who we later learn is Jennifer Welch, makes some quite provocative and, frankly, pretty remarkable statements.
Yeah, remarkable is one word for it.
This conversation, as wild as it sounds, actually opens up a really interesting discussion about cultural exchange, culinary evolution, and, the surprising origins of many beloved dishes we might mistakenly assume are authentic imports.
Exactly. It's a chance to re-examine our own perceptions, maybe, about where our food comes from and what authenticity truly means in this, well, globalized world.
Okay, so let's dig in.
So our journey into this complex topic begins, as our source presents it, with the central, utterly startling statement from this Bravo star, Jennifer Welch.
Okay.
Her assertion was that white people that triple-trumped, that specific phrase, should be banned, boycotted, and unable to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel.
Wow, triple trumped. That's intense.
It is, and this isn't just a casual suggestion. It's presented as a remarkably specific and, far-reaching prohibition, targeting a demographic based purely on their political alignment.
Now, this is where her argument truly intensifies, right? She explicitly called for a ban from Mexican, Chinese, and Indian establishments, those three specifically. And the way she delivered this, as the source describes it, really highlights the raw intensity of her outrage. It wasn't just a casual suggestion, was it?
No, not at all.
She used that phrase, triple trumped, over and over again, apparently, emphasizing what she clearly saw as an extreme level of political alignment that, in her view, should determine, where you get to eat dinner.
It's like there's a secret, unwritten rule book based on politics.
Exactly. And the suggested alternative she offers is equally pointed, almost satirical in a way. She states they should go to perhaps their gay hairdresser, that's a quote, and then get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel.
Oh.
It's an incredibly loaded statement, right?
Yeah.
Simultaneously excluding and, in her mind, redirecting specific groups to specific politically assigned places. It really sets the stage for the kind of, deeply divisive rhetoric we're going to unpack.
What's truly fascinating here is not just the extreme nature of the demand itself, but the stated justification behind it, as relayed in our source material.
Right. Why does she think this is okay?
Well, she argued, and this is a direct quote again, that white people are racist and want to get rid of brown people and yellow people.
Okay, so that's the core accusation.
That forms the core of her accusation, yeah. Framing the political affiliation as just inextricably linked to racial animus. Yeah. She then went on to list specific groups she claims triple Trumpers actively browbeat.
Who did she list?
This included DEI, which, just for clarity, stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiatives, a term often at the center of current political debates, as well as gay people, black people, and this generation of immigrants.
Yeah.
You paints this picture of, systemic oppression.
Arguing that these groups are consistently targeted and undermined by those she categorizes as triple Trumpers. And she didn't stop there, did she? She even tried to connect her argument to this really broad historical context, stating that as you've been doing for 400 years.
Right, implying this long-standing, ingrained pattern of oppression that, in her view, justifies this modern-day ban.
So it's not a new grievance for her, it's like a continuation of history.
That seems to be the framing.
Yeah.
Furthermore, she continued to detail what she saw as the demonization of immigrants, citing that these triple Trumpers are calling them rapists and felons, contrasting them sharply with immigrants who open up businesses, earnestly pay their taxes. It's a very clear us versus them narrative.
Drawing a line between what she perceives as, legitimate contributing immigrants and those she believes are unfairly maligned by this political group.
And in a moment that truly underscores the raw, maybe unbridled fury of her rant, she delivered what the source describes as a direct and, frankly, quite crude personal attack.
Oh, boy.
Referring to the felon as the teeny-weeny mushroom cock piece of shit Kinkles McTaco tits at the top of the ticket.
Wow. Okay, that's a graphic.
Yeah. The use of such explicitly offensive language, while obviously jarring, is presented by our source as indicative of the extreme emotional intensity and level of animosity driving her argument against her perceived adversaries.
It really reveals the depth of the passion, or maybe just the anger that underpins her entire premise and the severity of her proposed culinary and social sanctions.
Definitely.
So, given the sheer intensity and the, well, rather shocking nature of these demands, it's perhaps not surprising that the initial reactions to this clip, as captured by our source speaker, were quite visceral.
How did you react?
He characterized the Bravo star with a series of very strong words. Nuts, absolutely hilarious and racist, unhinged, and a lunatic. When you hear those reactions, do you feel they truly capture the essence of her rant, or is there maybe a layer of performative outrage that the source speaker himself is also engaging with?
That's an excellent point. The source speaker's immediate and strong emotional response certainly reflects a common reaction to such, well, extreme rhetoric. It's a natural human tendency to label something so far outside conventional discourse.
Sure.
And to some extent, yeah, the source speaker's own characterizations like hilarious and racist suggest a level of performative engagement, perhaps a way to highlight the absurdity for his audience while simultaneously condemning the underlying sentiment. It's a powerful, almost rhetorical dismissal.
And it's interesting how the source then immediately pivots, right? Presenting what they characterize as a Republican counterpoint to the Bravo star's premise.
What was that counterpoint?
They quote Republicans as saying, "We don't like illegal immigrants. We certainly enjoy their food. Like, legal immigrant food and culture has nothing to do with illegal immigration." How does the source use this specific counterpoint to highlight the perceived absurdity or maybe even hypocrisy in the Bravo star's argument?
Well, this counterpoint from the source is quite significant because it attempts to dissect and separate two distinct issues: immigration policy and cultural appreciation.
Right, which she seems to blend together.
Exactly. The Bravo star conflates these, essentially arguing that one's stance on immigration, especially illegal immigration, inherently precludes one from enjoying the cultural products, like food, of those very groups.
Okay.
The Republican counterpoint, as presented, explicitly rejects this conflation. It argues essentially, we can hold a position on the legality of immigration, but that doesn't dictate our enjoyment or appreciation of the food, art, or culture brought by legal immigrants.
Right.
The source speaker uses this to highlight what they see as the illogical leap in the Bravo star's reasoning, asserting that cultural enjoyment and political positions on immigration are not, and really shouldn't be, mutually exclusive.
It's presented as a way to say you can engage with policy without demonizing an entire culture or their culinary contributions. The source speaker then shared this personal conundrum that brings a moment of kind of relatable humor to the discussion, almost to emphasize the sheer ridiculousness of her logic when applied to real people.
What was that?
As a Trump voter who only double-trumped, which is a funny, almost self-deprecating distinction in itself, playing into her triple-trumped terminology.
Yeah.
And being white and Asian, describing himself as kind of pale pastel yellow, he humorously questions what restaurant he's allowed to eat at.
That's great. Yeah.
It's a fantastic way to illustrate the personal impact and just the inherent absurdity of such broad, politically motivated bans.
It absolutely is. This self-deprecating humor serves multiple purposes.
Yeah.
Firstly, it humanizes the abstract concept of a political ban, showing how quickly it breaks down when applied to the complexities of individual identity. Like, if you're white and Asian, where do you fit into a binary ban? Secondly, it directly challenges these simplistic, often reductive categories the Bravo star attempts to impose. He speculates maybe he's only allowed to eat at Asian fusion restaurants owned by white people because I'm mostly white.
Right, pushing the logic to its breaking point.
Exactly. It reveals its inherent flaw and the sheer impossibility of enforcing such an arbitrary system.
But then, in a truly surprising turn, almost as if to find any common ground in this wildly divergent conversation, he finds something to agree with the Bravo star on.
Really, Gail? What was it?
He only's, quote, "Cracker Barrel is awesome."
No way. Okay, that's funny.
It's a moment of genuine, simple pleasure, cutting through all the political noise.
Yes, this sets up a fascinating, almost ironic, lighter tone amidst a deeply serious and divisive topic. He elaborates on the Cracker Barrel aspect, noting it's just a diner serving classic American fare like fried catfish, eggs, sausage, and catfish, which he clearly enjoys.
Right.
The irony here is profound. The one place she relegated triple trumpers to as a form of, like, punitive culinary exile, he genuinely finds enjoyable.
Yeah, it completely undermines the intended punishment.
Totally. It highlights how individual tastes often transcend political boundaries, despite attempts to politicize something as universal as food. It reveals the limitations of trying to dictate personal preferences based on ideology.
Okay, let's unpack this because here's where it gets really interesting and really dives into the core of what we're exploring today. The Bravo Star's entire argument hinges on this idea that white people are disrespecting specific cultures while enjoying their authentic food.
There's an implication of pure, static cultural ownership.
Right. But what's fascinating here and what the source brings to light is whether these foods are even what she claims them to be. This raises an important question for all of us. How authentic are the Mexican, Chinese, and Indian dishes we commonly find in America? And what does authenticity even mean in the context of culinary evolution?
Exactly. The core premise we're exploring, based on our source, is that many popular ethnic dishes in the U.S. are, in fact, significantly Americanized versions, or in some cases, outright American inventions.
Wow.
This challenges the very foundation of the Bravo Star's rant about cultural appropriation and enjoyment by suggesting that the foods themselves have undergone a profound transformation.
It's a remarkable revelation for many who assume these dishes are just direct, untouched imports from their countries of origin.
Definitely. It forces us to reconsider the narrative of cultural purity when it comes to cuisine.
So let's dive into Mexican food first, because there's a burrito revelation here that might just blow your mind and completely reframe how you think about this beloved dish.
Okay, I'm ready.
The surprising claim from the source is quite direct. Burritos are not in Mexico. That's Texas.
Whoa, okay. Texas, not Mexico.
I mean, for many of us, this is mind-boggling, right? You think of burritos, you think of Mexico as the undisputed birthplace, but the source suggests a different story.
And to add another layer of detail, the etymology itself is quite charming and insightful. Burrito also means little donkey or baby donkey, burro and burrito, because it looks like you wrapped a little baby donkey.
Yeah, I never knew that. Little donkey.
It's a whimsical name for a practical food. However, it's crucial to add nuance here, as the source also acknowledges. While burritos do have origins in Mexican origins, particularly northern Mexico, especially near the border like Ciudad Juarez.
Okay, so there is some connection.
Yes, but they are primarily considered a staple of Tex-Mex cuisine and evolved into a Tex-Mex staple, predominantly in the United States, especially Texas.
Ah, Tex-Mex.
This isn't to say there's no connection to Mexico, but its popular form, its widespread consumption, and its culinary identity in our landscape are distinctly American. Tex-Mex isn't just Mexican food in Texas. It's a distinct culinary tradition born from the blend of Mexican and American influences.
Right, embodying a unique cultural identity forged in those border regions.
Exactly. This fusion is precisely what makes Tex-Mex a vibrant and dynamic example of how food cultures adapt and transform. It shows that geographical proximity and shared history can create something entirely new rather than simply preserving the old.
That's a really important distinction, understanding Tex-Mex as its own unique culinary genre. So what is real Mexican food, according to the source, then?
Well, the speaker quite dramatically asks, when you go to Mexico, they don't eat burritos. They do have tacos for sure, but what do they eat in Mexico? My stars and garters, as the source speaker exclaims, clearly surprised himself.
So what's the answer?
He then answers, they eat steak and rice, beans and rice. The source really emphasizes that most people in the world eat beans and rice.
That really pulls back the curtain on our Americanized perceptions, doesn't it? Showing a more universal culinary truth.
It suggests that the everyday staple diet in many parts of the world, including Mexico, is far simpler, more foundational, and perhaps less glamorous than the elaborate dishes we often associate with ethnic cuisine here in the U.S.
It forces us to question our assumptions about global diets. Okay, so moving on to Chinese food. We encounter another fascinating case study in American culinary adaptation, right? One that might challenge what you thought you knew about your favorite takeout.
Definitely. Take General Tso's chicken, for instance. The source states quite directly, General Tso's chicken is American.
American, really, but it's everywhere in Chinese restaurants.
Exactly. This dish so incredibly ubiquitous, is considered a Chinese-American dish, not traditional Chinese. It's a powerful claim, isn't it?
Yeah. It means that this iconic, sweet, often spicy chicken dish, which many of us instinctively associate with authentic Chinese cuisine, is fundamentally a product of the American culinary landscape.
And there's a specific creation story mentioned in the source that really underscores this.
Oh, yeah.
It was created by a Chinese chef in Taiwan, but was specifically adapted to appeal to American tastes.
Ah, okay. Adapted for American tastes.
Right. So while it certainly has Chinese roots in its creator and a foundational understanding of Chinese flavors, the version popularized in the U.S. as a sweet and savory, often deep-fried chicken dish differs significantly from any original or traditional recipe that might exist.
So it was a deliberate choice, a culinary innovation designed to cater to a new palate.
Precisely. It's a prime example of a dish evolving to fit a new market, fundamentally changing its character in the process. It's no longer purely an import. It's a hybrid.
Then there's orange chicken, and this one might be even more shocking for some, given its immense popularity, especially from, certain chains.
Oh, yeah. What about orange chicken?
The source reveals. Orange chicken is considered an American creation, an American Chinese dish. It was not invented. It was invented in the United States, not China.
Get out. Invented in the U.S.
Oh!
Orange chicken.
Seriously, a huge revelation. The creator and date are even specified by the source. Chef Andy Cao is credited for creating it in 1987 while working in Hawaii for Panda Express.
Panda Express, wow. So it really is an American invention.
Think about that. Panda Express, a chain that we associate so strongly with fast, casual Chinese food, actually birthed one of its most famous dishes right here in the U.S.
Ah.
The description from the source speaker is quite vivid, almost critical. He calls it chicken wads battered and deep-fried and covered in a sugar glaze with oily fried rice.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
This vivid description then leads the source speaker to quip, "Bro, no wonder Americans are so heavy." It highlights what the source sees as a distinct American adaptation, often leaning towards sweeter and richer profiles.
Diverging significantly from traditional versions and reflecting American consumer preferences for certain textures and flavor profiles. Yeah, that makes sense.
This really drives home the point that while orange chicken was inspired by Chinese flavors and dishes, particularly from the Hunan province, a region known for its rich culinary traditions, it is explicitly stated that orange chicken is not a traditional Chinese dish. It's a key distinction between inspiration and authenticity, right? A thread that runs through many of these popular ethnic foods in America.
It's about taking elements, flavors, techniques, and reassembling them into something new, something that resonates with the local palate. It's culinary innovation, sure, but it also blurs the lines of what we consider culturally authentic.
This really reminds me of an anecdote shared by the source speaker about his own eye-opening experience at a Chinese restaurant in Bay Ridge, New York.
Oh, yeah? What happened?
He described walking in, and there was this striking visual detail, a 4-foot-high wall with a door opening and artistic looking like a fence dividing the restaurant.
A divider in the restaurant.
Yeah. It created two distinct sections within the same establishment. It immediately signals that something different is happening on either side.
And the contrast he observed was stark. Illustrating this fascinating culinary divide, he noted that the people who were sitting past that were eating real Chinese food. Full duck and fish with the eye still in it.
Whoa, okay. So more traditional stuff.
This implies a more traditional, perhaps less adapted Chinese dining experience, catering to a different clientele, possibly one more familiar with authentic Chinese cuisine. Dishes prepared with less compromise to American sensibilities, maybe.
But then, on the other side of that divider, the people who were sitting in front of it were white people eating General Tso's chicken, which is American food, by the way. He reiterated almost emphatically, made in America, that is not Chinese food.
Wow. It's a powerful visual metaphor, isn't it? For the different culinary worlds coexisting in one space, yet serving vastly different interpretations of Chinese food.
Exactly. It highlights how many of us are eating what we think is authentic, but is actually a localized adaptation created and popularized right here in the United States.
It's like a culinary mirror reflecting our own tastes and preferences, rather than a window into truly traditional foreign cuisine.
Okay, so moving to Indian food now. We find perhaps the most surprising origin story of them all for a dish as globally beloved as chicken tikka masala.
Oh, I've heard whispers about this one. What does the source say?
The source declares, with a hint of playful revelation, Indian food It's British.
British, right, not Indian.
More specifically, chicken tikka masala, invented
Mm-hmm.
in the UK, specifically in Glasgow, Scotland.
Glasgow, that's amazing.
This particular detail often catches people off guard, yeah. It fundamentally shifts the perceived nationality of a dish many of us intuitively associate with India.
Unbelievable. Does it say who invented it?
Yes, the creator and restaurant are even named by the source. Pakistani-born chef named Ali Ahmed Alam, who owned the Sheesh Mahal restaurant in Glasgow.
The Pakistani chef in Glasgow.
Okay. The origin story is truly fantastic, almost apocryphal in its simplicity and ingenuity. A customer complained his chicken tikka, which is the marinated, cooked chicken part, a traditional element.
Right, the tikka part is Indian.
Exactly. But the customer said it was too dry. So, Alam, thinking on his feet and improvising, added a sauce made from tomato soup, ghee, and spices.
Tomato soup, really?
Apparently. And just like that, the specific creamy tomato-based dish we know and love as chicken tikka masala was born out of a moment of customer service and culinary innovation in a British kitchen.
It's quite a tale of culinary ingenuity, and it's had significant cultural impact. It has also become a British culinary staple, and is often said it is a prime example of multicultural Britain.
That's a crucial point. Chicken tikka masala isn't just a popular dish, it's become a symbol.
It embodies the success of cultural blending and adaptation, where a dish with South Asian roots was transformed and popularized in a Western context, becoming almost a national dish in its adopted home.
It's a testament to how dishes can evolve and adapt in new environments, becoming symbols of cultural blending.
Demonstrating that cultural identity in cuisine is fluid, not fixed. This ingenious creation not only challenges the very concept of cultural purity in food, but also serves as a vibrant symbol of Britain's own multicultural tapestry.
It demonstrates that some of the most beloved ethnic dishes are not imported intact, but rather born from moments of cross-cultural adaptation and innovation.
It makes you wonder, if a dish can change nationality so readily, what does that say about the rigid definitions some people try to impose on culture?
It absolutely reinforces the idea that culture, and especially cuisine, is a fluid, evolving entity. And speaking of surprising culinary journeys, let's now delve into Thai food. Particularly an eye-opening experience recounted by the speaker regarding pad Thai. He shares an anecdote about asking for pad Thai with squid in Thailand.
Okay, pad Thai with squid. Sounds pretty standard American Thai order.
Exactly. Something he clearly enjoyed and expected given his experience with the dish in America. But the local reaction was priceless.
You have that.
His buddy, who spoke Thai, and the restaurant ladies all laughed. His friend then had to explain, quite humorously and vividly. You basically said, can I have a cheeseburger, but can I have chicken on it and no cheese?
Okay, that's a pretty apt analogy.
Yeah.
It really puts the Americanized version into perspective.
It speaks volumes about the culinary gulf that can exist between a dish's origin and its adopted versions.
Indeed. So what is real pad Thai like, according to the friend?
The real pad Thai, his friend explained, is fundamentally different. Basically, it's shrimp and noodles in Thailand. What you eat in America is some weird, fatty sugar dish that you call pad Thai. It's not pot Thai.
Wow. Weird fatty sugar dish. That's blunt.
It underscores the significant alteration that occurs when a dish travels and is adapted for a new palate, particularly one accustomed to sweeter, richer, and often fattier flavors.
Yeah, a stark contrast to the simpler, maybe more nuanced flavors often found in the dish's country of origin. This kind of adaptation often involves a considerable increase in sugar and fat content to appeal to that broader American taste profile.
Fascinated and perhaps a bit humbled by this revelation, the speaker insisted on seeking out truly authentic Thai food beyond the tourist traps or Americanized offerings.
So where did they go?
His friend then took him to a neighborhood with big open garage doors serving as kitchens, a very local, unassuming place, clearly far from the polished restaurant facade.
Okay, getting off the beaten path.
This suggests a true dive into local, everyday Thai cuisine, and the result. After all that searching for authentic Thai food, what he was served was plain steamed chicken and rice.
Plain steamed chicken and rice, that's it.
That was it. It's a seemingly simple dish, but it's telling. His conclusion was equally telling. Yeah, it was delicious. It was very delicious. It's exactly what you'd expect it to taste like.
Huh. So, simple but good.
This experience led him to a broader observation that challenges many Western notions of ethnic food. I've traveled around the world. People just eat fish and rice and chicken and rice and beans and rice.
That's a profound yet simple observation. It suggests that much of the world's staple diet is far simpler and more fundamental than the elaborate, often heavily flavored and calorie-dense ethnic dishes many Americans have come to expect as authentic.
It's a fundamental reset of our expectations about global cuisine, pushing back against the idea that every culture's daily fare is an explosion of complex flavors designed for Western palates.
This brings us to the overarching theme the source speaker identifies throughout his discussion, which he broadly characterizes as American gluttony and the resulting misconceptions of multiculturalism.
Okay, explain that a bit more.
His general critique is that this idea of all of these crazy multicultural ethnic foods largely exaggerated by American gluttony. He's not critiquing the cultures themselves, you see, but rather America's interpretation and adaptation of their cuisines.
Right. He describes exactly how this process happens, in his view. Americans take spiced Chinese chicken, and they slather it in batter, deep fry it, dump sugar all over it, and they're like, that's what they eat in China. And you're like, they don't. It's American food.
That encapsulates the process of adaptation and, in his view, an almost excessive transformation. It's about taking core elements and then amplifying them to fit a specific consumer demand for certain flavors and textures.
Often leading to something quite different from the original.
Exactly. This isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it creates new dishes we enjoy,
Right.
but it does fundamentally alter the notion of authenticity.
And the summary statement from the source couldn't be clearer, delivering a direct rebuttal to the Bravo star's entire premise. Right.
Yeah, what was the final word on her?
This cognitively impaired woman doesn't know what she's talking about with multiculturalism. She lists a bunch of Chinese, Indian, and Mexican food, and it turns out it's all American.
Wow. So it directly refutes her entire premise about who deserves to eat what by arguing that the very examples she uses to restrict access are, in fact, products of the very culture she seeks to exclude.
It's a powerful and really ironic counterargument.
Absolutely.
So if we revisit Cracker Barrel now, the very place the Bravo star relegated Triple Trumpers to as a form of culinary exile.
Yeah. What about Cracker Barrel?
We find this unexpected, almost humorous turn. The source speaker, despite all the political and cultural debate, expresses genuine appreciation for Cracker Barrel.
He still likes it.
Yeah, highlighting the simple joy of its offerings like grilled catfish, eggs, and sausage. He finds a simple, undeniable pleasure in this quintessentially American comfort food.
It's quite ironic, isn't it? The only thing he could genuinely agree with her on was the quality of Cracker Barrel.
Exactly. It completely undermines her attempt to make it a punitive culinary exile.
It suggests that even in deep disagreement, a good plate of breakfast or familiar comfort food can transcend political divides and expose the fragility of arguments based on rigid cultural or political categorization.
It's a moment where shared human experience, in this case, the simple enjoyment of food, just breaks through the noise of ideological conflict. And that leads us directly into the broader irony of the Bravo star's argument. If her goal was to separate cultures through food, to define strict boundaries of who can consume what, her chosen examples utterly fail.
Right, because why?
Because the very foods she names, the Mexican, Chinese, and Indian dishes she tries to use as a basis for exclusion, are, as we've explored in depth, products of American cultural blending and culinary evolution.
They are, in a profound sense, already part of the very multiculturalism she seems to misunderstand.
Exactly. This raises an important question for us all, one that transcends this particular rant. What does this all mean about our definitions of multiculturalism and authenticity? Is it about purity, about rigid adherence to tradition, or is it about evolution and fusion?
Is it a dynamic process of adaptation and creation?
That's a fantastic point, because so often we talk about purity in culture or food, when in reality, culture is a living, breathing thing that constantly adapts, borrows, and transforms.
It's a process of dynamic exchange, not static preservation.
And speaking of adaptation and global exchange, it's worth remembering that this exchange of ingredients has a long and often complex history. Our source briefly touches upon the historical spice trade.
Oh, right, the pepper thing.
Yeah, reminding us of the incredible lengths and indeed immense human cost involved in bringing these exotic flavors across continents. He mentions a staggering figure. An estimated 50,000 people died just to bring crushed black peppercorns to Europe.
50,000 people for pepper. Wow. This seemingly isolated fact actually adds a crucial layer to our discussion, doesn't it?
It highlights the profound and often brutal historical forces that underpin the globalized palate we enjoy today.
The source speaker's sardonic note, which is particularly pointed given the Bravo Stars rant, is that white people died to add these spices and flavors to their food. Yeah, it's a stark reminder that culinary history isn't just about recipes. It's intertwined with vast economic empires, exploration, human conflict, and immense sacrifice.
It truly contextualizes the global exchange of food as a phenomenon steeped in centuries of human endeavor, far beyond simple political rants about who gets to eat what.
It's a testament to the fact that the flavors on our plates have often traveled vast distances and carry complex histories with them.
So what stands out to you after this deep dive? We've seen how what we perceive as ethnic food is often not a rigid, imported tradition, but a delicious and fascinating blend of global inspiration and local adaptation.
Yeah, this deep dive isn't just about debunking, an unhinged rant. It's about understanding how cultures truly interact and evolve, especially through something as universal and enjoyable as food. It highlights the dynamic nature of cultural exchange.
Indeed. The real multiculturalism is not static. It's dynamic, constantly adapting and creating new traditions. It's a process of exchange and reinvention rather than rigid separation or purity.
It shows us that cultural boundaries, particularly in cuisine, are far more fluid and permeable than some might wish them to be.
We've taken a fascinating journey from an initial, rather extreme rant about banning diners to a surprising and often eye-opening exploration of culinary history and cultural origins.
We've seen how many of our beloved ethnic dishes are, in fact, uniquely American creations, born from a vibrant melting pot of global flavors and local influences.
So what does this all mean for our understanding of identity and belonging in a truly multicultural society if the food we eat is constantly evolving and blending?
It challenges us to reconsider how we define us and them through the lens of shared cultural experiences, doesn't it?
It might just make you think differently the next time you order your favorite General Sounds or chicken tikka masala, reminding you that every dish has a story, and often that story is one of fascinating, dynamic, and, well, delicious cross-cultural exchange.